Turn it round.
If we need a few
Let me get out of the way.
of these.
Righto, everybody, hush. I'm going to make a speech. Everybody, hush. I'm going to make a speech. I've made a few notes.
Just a few.
Few? It's double line spacing, big font. Okay. You know, the eyes. Okay, it says, notes on Brian's 80th birthday.
Which is yesterday.
Which was
2 days ago.
Thursday.
Okay, we have known each other since we were 8. Our parents met before the war at a wedding at which the ladies were there for the bride and the men were there for the groom, who was Pa's brother. I didn't say on here that they went on and got married, did I? Okay, my dad married my mum and his dad married his mum.
Funny that.
Yeah, as you did in those days.
Very old fashioned.
Yeah.
No living together in those days. And then Brian's parents went to live in Cunnabloodymulla, and that's where he was born. Anyway, the war intervened, and unfortunately Brian's mother died during the war. She had dengue fever, and she died having twins. So just imagine, there would have been twin boys looking like him. Anyway, after the war, my father ran into Pa, as I was used to call him when we were first married, invited him home for dinner, and thereafter it was a lifelong friendship. Brian and I attended each other's school events and eventually decided that at 19 we would be boyfriend and girlfriend. None of this partner business, no living together. We got engaged at Christmas 1960 and married in December 1961 and went to live in Carrara. That's on the Darling Downs, not down the coast. Brian was the one teacher at the school. Now that was an adventure. We lived in a small shearer's cottage for about a year, and we took Jamie home to the cottage in 1963. The department then decided to build a house next to the school. We had a brand new house, not much furniture to put into it. We had a bed and a table and chairs and not much else. Brian was still studying when he went out there, so he did most of his study, because we had no electricity, we had no running water, we had a tank, and our light was an Aladdin light, a kerosene Aladdin light. And we had a slow combustion stove.
You tell kids these days, they don't.
And no flushing toilet.
No, we didn't have a flushing toilet. We had a dunny out the back, and Brian was the night watchman. He had to empty it, and he used to leave it until the very last minute.
Oh, that's where Jamie gets it from.
And then he'd balance it on the top of the fence, and I had to hold it while he jumped the fence and dug a hole, and then he buried it, and then we started all over again. Anyway, Brian did most of his study at that table under the light of the Aladdin lamp, with a slow combustion stove which kept the whole house warm. And in the winter time, oh, it was cold out there, we used to shut all the doors up, and he'd study in the kitchen, and then when it was time to go to bed, we'd damp down the slow combustion stove, open the door and dash down to the bedroom, jumped under the covers, and right, okay, then Kathy arrived in 1965.
Four.
we had this big old pram which I would load both kids and trundle across to the hall for all the events that happened. Now in Carrara, there was a church hall at which all events happened. And there was the school, which was us, and then the schoolhouse, and then a stall down the corner, right in the Carrara train station. And the lady that ran that, she always said, everything's coming in next Tuesday. So that's where, if you ever hear me say that, it's coming in next Tuesday, that's where it came from. And anyway, I'd put the kids in and away we'd go. And all the little girls used to come along, grab hold of the pram. And there was always four little girls on the pram handle and pushing them. And anyway, after 4 years there, Brian decided he'd done enough with teaching kids. He was going to go and teach adults in the army, and he joined the educational corps as a lieutenant. The kids were only 7 months and 2 years, 4 months. We set off for the next adventure. We were posted to the School of Military Engineering and lived outside Liverpool. We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was another learning experience. We were two babes in the wood amongst these world-wise army personnel. Brian was the adjutant, being the youngest and newest officer. He continued to study. He was by this time doing this by correspondence at Armidale University. And eventually he got posted to Canberra. And guess what? 2 more kids came along.
That's spare time, isn't it?
Susanna in 68 and Elizabeth in 70. Brian was at headquarters by this time and was a captain. When Liz was 7 months, we all boarded a plane and went to Singapore. We had a 2-year posting there. We came home to Canberra. We had a house in Red Hill. And we had that house renovated and enlarged. I loved that house. Did you love that house?
I did love that house. Yeah, I love Canberra.
And guess what? Brian left the army and became a fat cat. He worked for a committee attached to the immigration department, and there we stayed for a further 4 years in Red Hill. He then decided he would apply for medical school in Brisbane as a mature age student. He was that real old black bloke with a beat up red Volvo.
Remember it well.
And
I do too. I know to drive in it.
to put him through uni, I had to go back to work, and I'd have been a stay-at-home mum for 15 years. And we bought a casket shop down here at Mount Gravatt. It was called the Lucky Spot, and it had a barber shop in the back at Mount Gravatt Central. I sold tobacco, cigs, knickknacks, etc., and took the money from the customers from the barber shop. We stayed there for 6 years. I would drop Brian down to the shop by 6 a.m. He would open up. I would then take the car back, take the kids to school, come back to the shop. Brian would take the car back to uni, and I would stay in the shop. We made not a penny out of that venture, just enough to house, feed and clothe us all. And of course all that was reversed in the evenings. We sold the shop when Brian graduated. I remember ringing Leslie. She was supposed to be here tonight.
She was here.
She was here, but she had to leave early, and saying, "We're a doctor." We bought the practice in Badminton Street, where I went in as a practice manager, and Pam, who was also supposed to be here tonight, was the practice nurse, and there we stayed for 18 years. When that practice was sold and the city practice was bought with 2 other doctors, I decided to retire because my hearing had gone by then. And
Pardon?
What?
What did you say?
Sorry, I had to do it.
Somebody had to.
Anyway, Pam went in went into the city with him, and she became the practice manager. He stayed there for 20 years and was very active in RSCGP College, Royal Australian College of General Practitioners. He was on many committees and was also an examiner for the young doctors just out of university. He eventually became an examiner of the examiners. It was from there he retired 2 years ago. And early this year, he gave us all a great big scare by landing in ICU at the Mater for a month. There's been a slow and steady return to health, but thank God he did.
Give us some looking away.
Many of you were at my 80th 2 months ago. Will remember Brian talking about all the travelling we have done in the later years. We have been steadily spending the kids' inheritance. I believe we travelled to 35 different countries, and we have the pictures to prove it. Lately, Brian has digitised all his slides, 55 boxes of rondettes. So, and there's 129 slides in each rondette. So add that up. It took him 6 months, didn't it? About.
In
They
between.
are all now on the computer and various thumb drives. We've had a wonderful journey through the whole process. It was fabulous to see ourselves so young, and then the kids growing up, and then the grandchildren. Thank you, darling, for a wonderful life. I hope we can celebrate our 90th birthday. But before that, we have 60 years of marriage to celebrate in 2 years' time. Hip hip hooray. You may now light the candles.
Curtains.
Oh, hopefully not curtains.
We're not lighting curtains, okay?
All kitchens.
No kitchen's being lit tonight.
Well done.
By the way, a black cake with sprinkles was always the family cake. I started making it when Jamie was 2, and every
No,
child and grandchild has had a black cake with
One.
sprinkles.
You
But
gave,
I can no longer make a black cake with sprinkles.
you gave me my first
Ready?
black cake with sprinkles
Steady.
on my first birthday.
No,
Quick,
she
it's
said-
before it goes out. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daddy. Happy birthday to you.
Hip, hooray! Hip, hooray! Hip, hooray!
Go, just let the
Thank you, boys and girls.
Well
Thank you, Jenny. It was such a good thing. It was really lovely that I'm able to be here, and I made it to this point.
You have a right of reply.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot of the things I said at the last celebration applied, but I think particularly important was the fact that Janny got me through this year to the point where I'm almost recovered. I think it's fair enough to say I'm almost normal. And it
Were you
was
ever?
Certainly better than it was in January.
yeah, it's a long way from. I wasn't aware of most of it, of course, having been unconscious at the time. However, on reflection, I can see, I was pretty ropey. However, I'm now back having this is the first drink I've had for, nearly 12 months. So I'm really enjoying it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the girls. Thank you for Kathy coming to stay with us when we were feeling a little bit ropey a few months ago. That's been a great hit.
It was
For
6
the-
months ago.
And of course
My pleasure.
tonight the
More
preparation.
than my pleasure.
Kathy put together most of this dinner tonight. So again, congratulations to her with able assistance from the other 2 sisters and grandchildren and everybody. So,
Joe was a big helper.
And
Joe
Joe,
was-
don't forget Joe. Joe was a really big help
I
with
think
that.
I
Joe,
just said
it looks
that,
like he's
didn't I?
been He's learned how to clean the table.
And thank you to all our daughters.
Yes.
They've well and
Yes.
truly supported us all through this
Yeah.
horrible last year.
Yeah. Well, we've, in a sense, we've landed on our feet. We've stayed in the house we wanted to stay in, but we're not financially able to do so without. But selling the house and being able to survive financially has made a big difference. And of course, this is a house where we've had so many lovely times. Going through this.
And David and Nan know all about those
Very
lovely
many
times.
of them. I'd like to say that the reason my parents used to let me come out to these parties was because they went, because you're the same age as my mother. My
Yes.
mother would go, oh, they're sensible people, they're my age. You'll be fine.
Little did she know.
Exactly. I never told her the truth.
But going through all this slides, you know, there are a million pictures of taken out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's
Even
people we
before
can't
this-
even remember who they
Yes.
are.
No.
Can you get a big
Even
knife?
before this was built, there's some photos.
Yep.
Yes, those are the really old photos when there's no feasting hall.
There's photos of Joshua and Annie back there before it was here.
Brian sent me a photo of who do you think this was?
That's what I
Some
said.
medical thing. And we have no clue
We
who this
can
person was.
recognise you and we can recognise ourselves. Don't ask us
Who the other people are.
That's right. I said it to David now. I said, you're there. Who's that?
No clue.
Some medical person.
Half a point for you.
No, I really can't remember.
Not you, Ned.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's why
I wish you'd be acting like that. You turned it off.
Good work.
Oh, it's amazing.
Lovely speech.
It's the beginning
I mean,
to the end.
I had lived
Whoa,
all
whoa.
as I was reading through.
Kylo.
Oh, I didn't say this one.
Whoa!
Have you got a knife there to cut your cake, Brian?
It's coming.
I think the knife is on it.
Coming forth.
He's cool looking, but he is an edgy goth.
Now make a wish before it hits the
You've got to
bottom.
make a wish.
I'll care, dude.
Don't hit the bottom, you're going to have to kiss the nearest girl.
Oh, he's hit the bottom.
We're talking Scarlet.
Oh, you might have to get a kiss, Mum.
And you got to kiss the nearest girl.
I sharpened these knives today too.
Tried to slay him.
Are you in charge of
There
cutting?
might be
Come on, you got to kiss the nearest girl.
Mm.
We tried to slay her.
All right, I'm turning the video off now. Bye bye.
I get videoed for about 10 minutes.
17 minutes and 45 seconds.